So welcome, welcome. If you're just jumping on, this is your Girl Power Go Rockstar webinar. And I'm Erin Mahoney. I am the founder and CEO of Girl Power Go. We are an empowerment company that helps girls and women to see their beautiful bright light, live in their space, and love themselves, be kind and caring. We're going to talk about being brave and courageous today. I'm gonna share with you some tips and strategies that I use in my classroom and I use in my workshops. Now we'll be using them on webinars to just help people to love themselves, to see the power that they have. We all have this beautiful power inside of ourselves. And so I wanna talk about that today, but I wanna give people just a few more minutes to get on. So we have quite a few people participating. I'm really excited. Thank you for joining us. If you saw our ads on Facebook and you have not really had any interaction with myself or our company, we're going to tell you a little bit about our company. We're going to tell you about this mission that we are on to empower girls everywhere. Doesn't that sound amazing? I used to say hundreds and hundreds of girls. And then I said thousands and thousands of girls, and now I'm just surrendering and facing the fact that we have the ability and the power to empower millions and millions of girls, especially with technology now. It used to be I had to get, connect with parents or educators. We're going to talk a little bit about that, about how we've done that over the years and our history. But now we're able to jump on a webinar like we are today. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome for those of you that are just jumping on. This is Erin Mahoney, and we are going to be sharing some of our best, some of my best practices to empower the girls in your life. So I'm just going to give people maybe one more minute. So we'll start at 5 after 11. I certainly want to be thoughtful of everybody's time. Always an interesting morning on game day. That's what I like to call this. This is game day for us, where we've been planning and developing and kind of, I've been putting this presentation together for all of you and want to give you 110% of me and my work. And I'm just thrilled to have this new platform. This is kind of a new platform for myself to share this great work, that I know has the power to transform girls. So I've seen a lot of things over the last 10 years, and I'm going to talk with you guys about that. So it is 11:05. Welcome for everybody that's on the webinar. And I'm so glad that you're here. This is the Girl Power Go Rockstar webinar. I am Erin Mahoney. I am the CEO and founder of Girl Power Go. And so we do empowerment work with girls and women, and we are so excited that you are here, and we are so grateful that you have carved this time out of your day, because my plan is to have you leave this webinar with some education, some inspiration that you can share with the girls in your life as soon as you finish. And that's really very exciting to me. And so I want to just talk to you a little bit about how I'm going to run this webinar and how we actually got here and what Girl Power Go is and what this mission means to me. So, so why don't we just get right to it? So I will just let you know that this technology is new for me. And so I apologize if some of my slides might not flip perfectly. I'm just going to put it out there, and it's okay. I'm going to embrace anything that happens today, and I want you to do that as well. I came into my office today with an open heart and an open mind and full of excitement and gratitude. And so I'm going to try not to get emotional. People that do know me personally, I tend to get emotional. But I'm going to embrace that too, because it's part of my passion. And so I am extremely passionate about what I do and about sharing this mission and message to empower girls and women everywhere. And so with that, I just want to start and share a little bit about our mission and how it all began, because my company and this work has grown very organically. It's not something I saw coming. It's not something I planned on. So, but here we are, and I'm so thrilled. I can't imagine being anywhere else or doing anything else with my life. So with that, our mission at Girl Power Go is that we provide services and programs to girls and women that build confidence, courage, and strength. And I'm going to talk a little bit on the webinar about all of those things. Our goal is always to inspire and educate and provide proven strategies that develop strong connections to self and others. And that is not easy work. That is really big work. If you're on this webinar, you know that because you are looking for some new tools and some new strategies, right? And so, so this is big work, and I know that. And so we've been at it a long time. I've been doing just this mission of empowering girls through Girl Power Go for about 10 years. Before that, I'm so thrilled and honored. I felt privileged to serve in our military. I was in the United States Air Force from the time I was 17 until the time I was about probably 24 or 25. I served in active duty as a medic, and then I went on to transfer into the National Guard in my home state of Massachusetts. It was a life-changing experience, and I feel like I take all of the experiences that I've had up until this point into this company, teaching compassion and loving kindness, as well as courage and bravery. And so I'm super excited to talk with you about all of those things. But connection to self, strong connection to self and others. It really does start with one and start with you. And so we're going to talk about even leading by examples and being positive, and some of the things that I do in my work and in my own personal life that have had a super positive impact on everything else, on the people in my life, on the work that I do, even on the way that I spend my leisure time or time off. So, which honestly isn't much, but that's okay. So we also, the way that we do this and help people to build these strong connections and confidence and courage is through life lessons, through loving kindness concepts, awareness activities, fitness, as well as energy work and positive thinking. That is the foundation of my company. It's in everything that we do. And so those are a lot of things to put together. I've managed to put them together in a way that works. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm so excited to share it. So Girl Power Go, it was born from a need. And so I say it was born because it is like a person to me. It's this incredible journey of giving people the tools that they need to feel better every day, to go to work, to deal with family things. Life is stressful. And so how do we help the girls in our life to navigate through all the things that are going to come in and happen to them? And so just a little bit of background story. In 2009, there was a little girl in my life, a girl that I have deep love and connection to. And she was being teased on the bus. For those of you that might not know the Girl Power story, it was really born and created from a need. And so this little girl was being teased on the bus, and she was only in the first grade, which is crazy to me. And so that's why, what we're talking about is these tools and strategies can be adapted to any age, any gender, adults, kids, boys, girls. I focused on girls, and my company has done that for a long time because of this need, because of how it started. And so this little girl was being teased on the bus. She was a great athlete, and she was a sports fan, and she used to like to dress in Patriots. For those of you that don't like the Pats, forgive me. Moving on, it's not the most important thing. I'm crazy about my New England Patriots. I'm a Boston girl through and through. And so, but that's okay. We're going to talk about differences and how we can love people even if we don't agree. So just a little fun thing there. But she would, she was always wearing her colors, Red Sox, and she was very sporty. I actually used to call this particular little girl in my life my sporty spice from the beginning. And so she was athletic, and these girls on the bus were teasing her. They were actually calling her a tomboy, which she did not like. It's not a horrible name, I think in comparison to what a lot of kids say to kids. This wasn't the most horrible thing, But for this little girl, she didn't like it. And to me, that's enough. When a child says, I don't like what you're doing or how you're treating me, that should be enough. So this particular girl was very shy. And so she did not want to take the bus anymore. She did not want to hear these girls bothering her in this way anymore. And so I talked with her, and her incredible mom talked with her and helped her to build up the courage to go onto the bus and ask the girls to stop. You know, that was really the first line of defense, was how do we get kids to respect someone else's feelings? And I thought, this is going to be great. You know, she's being brave and courageous. And so she did that. And unfortunately, what happened that day on the bus got my attention and made me realize that it's not that simple. And many of you on this call, on this webinar, may already know that. But what it was that these girls actually didn't stop, and it actually got worse. It intensified. And so at that point, I was pretty upset about it. And so I thought, how am I going to help this beautiful girl with this bright light, you know, to really be brave and courageous and almost not really care what those other people think, navigate through this situation that's going to, you know, help her throughout her life. And so anyway, we really talked about it. I thought about it. I went on a mission, and I somehow came across this incredible t-shirt that was perfectly her size, meant to be. It spoke to me. It said, I am not a tomboy. I am an athlete. And in that moment, Girl Power Go was born. In that moment, I knew that I could drape this little girl with this shirt, and she would not have to use her words, and she could walk with her head held high, brave and courageously, past those girls that were saying this thing to her. And she was owning it. She was taking her power back. And so that's really when all of this started. And so that's our story. That was nearly 10 years ago. That first grader is now a thriving, incredible, beautiful young woman, 11th grader. And so there's lots of stories between then and now, and I will try and share some of them with you today. I want to be really thoughtful and respectful of the time. And so, you know, I can only share so much of that, but that's really the important piece to know, is that we as adults have the power to put tools and strategies into the hands of young girls that will help them to feel brave and courageous. And we're going to talk about being loving and kind and the balance of all of that, how we teach girls to set boundaries and still be loving and kind and still take care of themselves. So with that, I'm going to move on to the next slide. I want you to have the tools when you leave this webinar to help girls be strong, be smart, and be amazing. Because I believe when we put those two things together, that's what happens. And so in the next 60 minutes or so, I think I've blocked us for 60 to 90 minutes, and we're already well on our way. You're going to learn my best practices, proven strategies for helping girls to feel more confident, be brave and courageous, and create a solid friend circle. And so I haven't even talked about that yet, but I will. So how can we do that? I know we all have outside forces. So two things I want to bring to you here is that I want you to stick around until the end of the webinar, because I'm giving you so much content. There's a lot of things that I want to share with you. And so if you can stick around until the end, which we hope we do, I've created a free bonus for you. So just for getting on today and staying with us until we end the call, I am going to send right to your email a quick guide that I developed, and I call it, it's the Girl Power Quick Guide, 7 Ways to Amazing Days. And these are probably my top 7 things that I know if we incorporate these into our life, the girls in your life, or even into your own life, you will live better. You will feel more energized. You will feel more positive, more confident. And so these are big strategies that I've included in this bonus. And so all you have to do is stay with me until the end, which I hope you will, because we're going to have lots of fun. And then we'll send this right to your mailbox. So the other thing, whoops, I talked about my technical difficulty, right? Here we go. Whoops, I was in the right place. So there we go. If you're laughing on your end, please do, because I'm trying not to take myself too seriously. So this is the slide that I did want to be on, Girl Power Go in action. These pictures, I went through so many pictures, and it was so emotional for me preparing for this webinar because each one of these pictures is a different part of our story. And it just is always a constant reminder of how important this work is. And so, but it is big work. And that's why I decided to do a webinar, and we're starting to look at this work in a different way. It's really bigger than me. You know, it's bigger than my organization because we can only touch so many people in the way that we were doing it. Going into local schools, going into any place where there's a need, which is pretty much everywhere. I don't know of anyone that doesn't know a girl that could use a little boost in her self-confidence. Even very confident girls always need to have positive feedback and those kinds of things. And so I wanted to take I wanted to compile some of the photographs that have been really part of our story, which is just kind of fun and exciting for me. So this first one here, if you can see the mouse going around the photo right in the middle, in the top middle part of our screen is with the yellow walls. This is the first really official full girl power class that I ever taught. And so yeah, I was nervous about it. This is a group of second graders. The girl that I told you about on the bus is actually part of this group. It was a friend of mine that through another woman had connected us. And so this class was actually taught in her basement. And so I love that. You know, we have grown from people's homes to, you know, churches, rectories. We in the summer or spring will teach outdoors. We are in parks and recs, in schools. There's a few pictures that are in schools. These two pictures in the after school programming. I've done programs before school. Basically, wherever there is a need, we find a way. So we find the space and we find the funding. So Girl Power Go in action, we are thrilled to be out there just finding a way. We also work with local libraries. This picture down at the bottom is an event that we did at a local library. So we might go in when the library is normally closed. Maybe we do a special event. So just getting creative. And now we're bringing this work and these programs into people's homes, which frankly just blows my mind because it makes me realize that I can help people to not have to reinvent the wheel. I can share everything that I've created as far as content, and then I'm going to talk to you about the measurement. How do we know that girls are really benefiting from these things that we're doing, the strategies that I'm going to share with you today? I know it, we have proof, and I've done the research, and so that way people don't have to do all of that. They can just simply learn from us, and then they can have what they need. So it's super exciting. The other thing I noticed when I was putting together these pictures, and you will probably notice, is how happy everybody looks, including myself. And so the girls don't arrive in our space this way, and girls, when you're sharing these things, whether it's in your home, maybe with Girl Scout troops or whoever you're going to share these strategies with that I'm going to teach you today, they might be nervous, they might be apprehensive, they might be uncertain. That's how girls arrive for us and in my classroom. They may not know each other. And on one-on-one, you know, we want people to be able to do this work one-on-one. And so maybe they're nervous about it. They think, oh, I don't need this, or, you know, is this really going to help me feel fabulous? Whatever it is. And so I can assure you that the girls in your life that you share these tools with will absolutely feel amazing after they learn some of our Girl Power Go strategies. So with that, we're going to get started. I want to give you the information that you jumped on the webinar to get. Thank you so much for letting me tell a little bit about me and how we got here and what our story is, because I believe it's a story worth sharing. It is a story that has just continued to grow and blossom and emerge. So I say that I am kind of ignorance on fire, in that I am always going to go for things and jump out of the comfort zone and figure it out as I go. And every failure and everything that we have, every misstep we have taken has given us a new opportunity to rise stronger and brighter and more beautiful. And so that's what it's about today. So the only thing I ask of you before we get started, because I am ready and I hope that you are ready, is that you be open to doing a visual exercise with me, which we are going to do now. And you also shut down any outside forces or distractions that you might have going on. So in other words, shut down your email. If you can put the phone away for a little bit, if you can shut down your Facebook, Whatever it is that distracts you, if you have kids in the house and you can kind of get them settled and comfortable, that's great. We all do our best. Sometimes things are beyond our control, but just try to create a quiet environment for you to just spend this time with me, because I really want you to get the most out of it. And I want you and the girls in your life to be successful and feel incredible when we jump off of this, this webinar. So I didn't want distractions. So with that, I just want you to all to know that there will be a Q&A period at the end where you can ask questions, and we'll be working with that. I also have one of my incredible teammates is actually on, and she's going to be working some of the Q&A for us. And she is on this mission and knows Girl Power Go inside and out. So Jessica, thank you so much. She's on and she's helping us today. So you don't have to save your questions until the end, but just know that I won't be looking at it because I want to give you 110% of my attention while I'm presenting the information to you. So with that, I'd like you to get comfortable wherever you're sitting, and I want you to think about a girl in your life that might be struggling. I want you to, if you have to close your eyes, you can. I want you to really relax, allow your body to soften, and I'm going to take you right into some of the things that I love to get you present in this space. And I want you to think about why you got on this call. I want you to think about kids that you know in your life that might be being picked on, or maybe someone is bullying them. And to me, bullying is when someone asks you to stop, and this is how we define it to all the girls in our programs and the kids, frankly, in my life, is that if someone asks you to stop, you need to stop. And if they continue and it goes on and on and on, it's too much. And so if you know a child, a girl that is struggling right now and has had any of those issues, maybe she's trying to find her voice and she sees herself as small or without value. I want you to just think about that child right now. I want you to put them in your head and in your heart. And I want you to think about why you got on this webinar, and know that you are going to learn things today that will help you, that then you can take this child that you're thinking about and you can help them right away as soon as this webinar ends. And so I'm so excited about that. So I want you to visualize this child just for one more minute, kind of wherever they're at. And we can all see a child that might be not comfortable or confident going into the middle of a room. And that's okay. Maybe they want to stand off a little bit. They want to wait until they feel a little bit more safe. And that's cool. But I want you to think about, if they're wondering, what would it feel like to go right into that room? What would it feel like to make a new friend? What would it feel like to be brave and courageous? And now I want you to visualize that child, that girl, in a happy, brave, full of confidence way. I want you to see her smiling. I want you to see her going on the bus with power. I want you to see her standing in her light. And this is where I get emotional, because I have seen thousands of kids take this journey. I have seen thousands of kids make this transformation. And I know that we together can help more. So I want you to see this child advocating for herself. I want you to see her full of love and confidence, because they all run together. And we're going to talk about that. I want you to see her accepting herself and embracing who she is now, not feeling like she needs to be or do anything. She is already complete, and she is already just as she should be. And I want you to hold that beautiful thought that we've created and know that that is so completely possible for the girls in your life. And so oftentimes I work with these girls, and parents tell me that at home, that they have a certain personality or a certain way about them or a certain strength. And then when they go off to school or to other activities or maybe birthday parties, wherever they find themselves in a place that doesn't feel safe or comfortable, they kind of shut down. They get quiet or nervous, and they're not comfortable being social, and they don't let their bright light shine. And so because of this, I continue to do this work. And so because of this, I wanted to share it with you. And so we're going to give you the tools. And I want to know, like, how does that sound to you? To me, it's pretty cool. And I did get emotional. It took us all of about 23 minutes for me to cry a little bit. But that's okay, because it's who I am and it's what we do. And it's all good. So moving on, because I know you're dying to know. So meet Liette. Liette is a character that is in my books. I have written some books, again, to get this message out to as many people as possible. And so this character, when my incredibly talented illustrator showed me this illustration, it brought me to my knees, frankly, because this is exactly what happens in Girl Power. It's exactly what happens in the programs that we teach. I have girls that arrive that look like this character that we will call Liette in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And she's a little bit uncertain. You can just tell from her body language that she's not sure. She's kind of like, what am I doing here? Am I gonna make friends? Do I like it? Do I feel safe? Mind is busy with all of this negative stuff, right? That wants to creep in and take over our kids. There is so much noise. And so that's what I see when I see the girl on the left, in the lower left-hand corner. The girl in the bubble is what I want to see in every girl, and what I know we together can make possible for the girls in your life. That's what I want to see. Her smile, her power, her energy. She is fierce and brave, yet you can tell she is loving and kind and open. She wants to make friends. She wants to stick up for others. She wants to do the right thing when no one else does. That's the girl. That's the girl that we want to create. And that's what I'm going to share with you today, is my top 3 strategies for helping the girls in your life to get to this girl in the bubble. Wherever she is, she might not be as nervous or closed off or shy as the girl that we have in this illustration at the beginning. Maybe that's her at the beginning of our webinar. But she might be somewhere in the middle. But with these strategies, every girl at every level will feel better. And so with that, I go to the next slide. Strategy 1, it's what you've been waiting for. And so my first tip is to talk about the power of positive thinking and creating a positive daily practice, what I call a positive daily practice. So if you've never heard of I am statements, you're going to hear about them now. They are one of my most favorite things, and they are so incredibly empowering. They are simple to learn and simple to implement. And so this is the first thing that I want to give you today, is the power of the I am statement and positive thinking. So this illustration shows a girl standing in her power, right? There is no way that this girl does not feel fierce and confident. And so what we want to do to create, what does that mean even, right? To create a positive daily practice. What that means is that I want you to start, you can take notes if you'd like, jot them down, to make a commitment with perhaps even yourself and the girl in your life to do something positive every day. But in doing something positive, also talking to yourself and talking with these girls in a positive way. So I ask girls to say I am statements to themselves. Some things that you might do, maybe jot them down. I am amazing. I am brave. I am strong. I am beautiful. And I tell girls, yes, you are. Don't let anyone tell you different. Yes, you are. I am worthy. I am enough. I am powerful. I am just right, just as I am. So how do we get girls to kind of do this? And how can you put this into action right away today? When you get off this webinar, or even maybe now while you're on the webinar, I want you to think about all the things you know to be true about this beautiful girl in your life that made you jump on this webinar in the first place. I want you to jot down 5 things about this girl that you want her to say to herself. If she's with you, because we have a snow day in New England, and so a lot of kids are home, if you have the girl with you, maybe she can do it. If she can't come up with anything, I often encounter lots of women in my workshops and girls that sometimes really can't think of anything. But I know there are so many things that you are, that is bright and beautiful and strong. And so the key is to tell ourselves that every single day. So I want you to write down 5 things. If you can't think of them for yourself, or if this girl in your life is struggling to think of them, think of someone you love deeply. That's a really good trick. It's one of my strategies. And so think of another person and think of how you see them. And then what I want you to do is turn those thoughts on yourself, because they're true for you too. So tell this to the girls in your life. I want her to see herself as strong and beautiful and powerful and amazing and smart and kind and fabulous. And I want her to say these things every morning before her feet hit the floor. So maybe you're going to write down these things together. And then her new routine for the next 30 days is going to be to say my I am statements every morning before my feet hit the floor and every night before my head hits the pillow. I'm going to say them to myself at least twice a day. And if this young girl in your life gets home from school or an activity and she's had a tough day, I want her to read her I am statements then as well, because you can't possibly spend too much time on positive thinking and creating a positive daily practice. It's my number one strategy. In every single program I do, in every single book that I write, in every classroom I find myself in every instructor that I teach, in everything I do, positive thinking. I'm not saying every day is full of rainbows, because that's not reality. But what I am saying is you have the power to set the tone for your day. You can say, this day is going to rock because I am worthy. I am strong. I am amazing. I am brave. I am courageous. I am powerful. I am fearless. I am a good friend. I'm kind and loving. And no one is ever going to tell me different. So that's strategy one. I hope you've got it. Daily practice, create it with I am statements for the girls in your life. Strategy two. This strategy is all about teaching girls how to be brave and courageous. And so once we get them practicing this positive thinking and creating this positive daily practice, we can move on to something a little bit more in depth, something that takes courage and might push them out of their comfort zone a little bit. And so we go right into being brave and courageous. I think I already said on this webinar that nothing really exciting happens in the comfort zone. And it's certainly easier said than done. And it's hard for kids, but it can be done, and it's worth the practice. It's worth the investment of time. And so here's my second strategy, or tip number two, and it's about being brave and courageous. And first, acknowledging that that can be very, very scary, right? It's true. This is a scary thought, to take kids out of their comfort zone, to take girls to a place where they maybe don't feel safe and comfortable. Maybe they're in a room of girls that they have never met before. And we all know that there are mean girls everywhere. So don't think I do what I do because I don't understand that, because I do. And so it is my job and my challenge to find those girls and help them come into a space where they feel enough confidence that there is room for everybody, that we can make space for everybody. We don't need to compete. We don't need to compare. We can just be who we are. So the first way to do that is to acknowledge the fear. And I teach girls that fear is not real. Fear is something that we create in our head. And so we can acknowledge that, and then we can speak to it. We can say, I see you, and I am not going to be afraid. I choose not to be afraid. I'm going to walk into this room, and I'm going to tell myself that I might meet my very best friend. Or I am going to walk into this classroom, and I'm going to do my best. I'm going to share a little story with you about being brave and courageous. Something that a lot of people don't know about me, especially if you've gotten on this webinar and we're just kind of meeting each other, virtually meeting for the first time. I was a child that in the first and second grade absolutely could not read. I was struggling. I could not blend sounds. I mixed up letters. And I felt ashamed and embarrassed. I felt stupid most of the time. And that still makes me sad, because I don't want any child, any girl, to ever feel those things. Any adult for that matter, any human being should never feel stupid or ashamed or embarrassed. Yet we do. And so we need to be reassured. And so what I needed to do, and just to tell the story really quick, was that thank God I had an incredible mom who also struggled to read and felt stupid and embarrassed and ashamed, but said, not good enough for my daughter. So she found an incredible program that she dragged me to, and they taught me how to read. They helped me to blend sounds. But most importantly, what we did all of these activities. And I used to go home and say, why on earth am I going to this program? We would draw lines on the chalkboard. They would blindfold us and have us improve listening skills, which I didn't know they were doing that at the time. I would just come home and say, this is so foolish. I'm not even practicing reading in this class. How can I possibly learn to read? But what they were actually doing was building my confidence. I was learning how to be a better listener, but how to get out of my comfort zone and how to do things anyway. I was learning to see myself bigger and brighter. And we're going to talk more a little bit about that story when I share something that we do with girls in the programs that I teach that I know has a huge positive impact. And so I just really needed reassurance. And that's what that was about. Reassurance that I am not stupid, that you are not stupid, and you don't need to feel ashamed because you don't read so good. It's okay. And all that means is that I needed a little more time, or maybe I needed to practice a little harder. Sometimes kids aren't great at sports right away, or they're practicing an instrument. It doesn't mean that they're not enough or they're not worthy. It just means that they need more practice, that they need a little extra time. So with that, we are acknowledging the fear, and then we are reassuring. Reassure girls that whatever their challenge is, whatever they don't feel confident about, I want you to reassure them that it's okay, to embrace those feelings, to know that you don't have to be perfect. Know that you are amazing. So we are going to reassure. The next thing is to give you examples of being brave and courageous. And sometimes I get ahead of myself. And so I think I've given some of those. But you need to give examples of ways you've been brave and courageous to the girls in your life. And so maybe things that you've felt not sure about, right? Maybe something that frightened you. It's important and really good to share those things with the girls in your life and say, hey, maybe I'm great at my job right now, but I wasn't always. Or, maybe I went on stage, something that's really hard to do, right? Maybe you do some public speaking, or maybe this girl in your life is in a musical, or she does dance or gymnastics, where sometimes she's the center of attention. She's afraid she's going to fall, or she's running track and she's afraid she's not going to be the fastest. It's okay. Give examples of ways to be brave and courageous, to say, I'm going to do that anyway. I might not be the fastest. I might mess up my lines on stage. I might not get the score that I want in my gymnastics meet. I might not be the best reader, but I'm going to try. And that takes courage and bravery. And so giving examples of that really helps girls in your life and works into this strategy to help them feel more brave and courageous. And then talk about how it would feel to be brave and courageous, what it looks like. Kind of the way that I was helping you to draw the picture in your mind. That's what I want you to do for the girls in your life about being brave and courageous. I want you to really simplify it for them. At any age, think about how it feels. Ask them to close their eyes. It might sound crazy, but it really, really works to have them think about what would it feel like to just give it my best and say, I am a rock star, no matter what the outcome. If I fall when I'm trying to run a race, if I can't remember what I'm supposed to say, I had to do that for myself today on this webinar. Everyone gets nervous. I have all of this information in my head, and I could have played that story of what if I don't remember? What if I say too many ums, which I might be doing? What if I forget everything that I know and I can't tell the story? And then I had to say to myself, Erin, that's crazy talk. And that's what I want you to tell the girls in your life. It's crazy to think that we can't be brave and courageous, but more importantly, that we can't make mistakes. We can make mistakes. We can be flawed, and that is all part of the process. Those things are actually the things that make us more brave and courageous. When we allow ourselves to be open and to make mistakes and to continue to fight anyway. I remember now we sell out programs that I teach wherever we're doing them. This month in particular, I was like, oh my goodness, people are fighting to get in. Isn't that wonderful? I think it's part of what's going on with the world and this whole movement to empower women and girls and to give them a voice. At the same time, I've been at this a really long time. I remember 10 years ago when I couldn't get 5 people to register their kids for our classes. I did not quit. I would not quit. And I don't want girls to ever quit on themselves, or parents or educators or leaders to ever quit on any girl or themselves. I want them to be brave and courageous. So building girls with confidence from strategy 1, creating your positive daily practice, and then moving into this space of being brave and courageous. This is really the picture that I have in my mind. And I love this illustration. This girl is saying to herself, this is where I choose to be. And that's what it really comes down to. We're going to talk about choices in my third strategy, in the third tip that I'm going to give you, but really knowing that we have a choice to be brave and courageous and confident. And so we might need to learn some ways to do that and get more comfortable, but that we can teach girls that they are fabulous, that they are rock stars, that they are amazing exactly the way they are. It has nothing to do with what someone else says about them. It has nothing to do with the clothes they wear, the color of the skin, the religion that they practice. It has nothing to do with where they live, their economic status, what their hair looks like. It has to do with what is inside of them and what they believe to be true. That's where their confidence comes. That's where their light gets to shine. And so we're going to help girls be brave and courageous. And you're going to help them to practice the strategy that you learned today about the I am statements. And that's going to build their confidence. And we're going to put those 2 things into action right away, as soon as this webinar is over. And then the third thing that I wanted to share with you, I have so many things to share and I get super excited. And so that was part of my challenge, was to figure out, what do I want to put on this webinar? What is most valuable? How do I put all of these different things that I do in our Girl Power programs? How do I put the most important 3 things together? So that was a challenge, but I think I did a good job. And I hope you think so too. And so the third thing that I felt like was really important, because I feel like people struggle with creating solid friend circles for a lot of reasons. And I know this to be true, 110%. And so I felt like that's the most important thing. That's the third top thing that I can give to people that join me on this webinar, is how do we build strong, solid friend circles? And what I mean by that is part of it is to know that the friend circles that you have, I refer to them as friend circles because you may have lots of different groups. Girls have lots of different groups. They have their friends that maybe they went to preschool with, and the parents are still friends. And so they see those kids, even if they've moved or changed towns, or their preschool was in a town, but they all came from different locations. And so now they go to their public school, or maybe they go to private school. And so that's a friend circle. And then what are their interests? Do they have an instrument? Do they love art? Are they an athlete? Those are all multiple friend circles. And sometimes when we come together for things like birthday parties or celebrations, those friend circles mix, or they don't mix. And that can be very stressful for anyone. And so helping girls to navigate through these relationships and these friend circles, and also helping them to be open to change, because the girl that they were best friends with in the 1st grade may not be their best friend in the 4th grade. And that's okay, because they're both probably dynamite girls. They're both awesome, but maybe their interests have changed. Maybe they're not as aligned as they were when they were younger. And so that can be very, very difficult for everyone, for grown-ups and kids. And girls sometimes tend to tear each other down And so it's something that I do not like at all, and I do not tolerate and don't have room or time for. And that took me a long time. I think these are life lessons that continue with us and always take energy for us to nurture these practices and these strategies. And so this isn't something that's going to happen overnight, but it is something that with love and care and attention can grow into something that's easier, that comes more natural, that feels really good. And so my third strategy is just that, how to create and choose really good friends. So as we build confidence in girls, my slide just says, we have the ability to teach them both how to be a good friend and how to choose good friends. And so I always want girls to know that if we're talking about characteristics or setting standards or boundaries for our friend circle, then we better be ready to show up to that ourselves, right? If I'm going to have an expectation of a friend that I want them to be a good listener or I want them to be trustworthy, then I need to be those things myself. I need to own it. It starts with self, with one, right? Of course it does. And so if I'm not acting in a way that's trustworthy, then how can I expect others to act in that way towards me? So this is where I call everyone out and say, we need to own our stuff, right? We need to talk to ourselves in a really positive way because your brain and the girls around you are listening. They're taking all that in. We need to be brave and courageous because our brain and the girls around us are listening and they're watching. They see your body language and your actions. You need to be confident and caring. And then our friends, our brain and the girls around us are listening and watching. How do we treat our friends? What kind of friend are you? And what kind of friend do you want your daughter to be? I teach girls and want to teach you today how to help them create and choose friends that are going to have their back, that are going to stand up for them, that are going to do the right thing when maybe nobody else does. I want to cultivate and help you to grow girls into leaders, even when it's not comfortable, even when it doesn't make them popular. Because frankly, sometimes being the brave, courageous girl that does the right thing when no one else does and sticks up for someone that maybe no one else is being kind to doesn't make you popular. But what it does do is shows everybody else that you're not afraid to be that girl. Don't we all want to surround ourselves with people like that? People that know who they are and feel strong enough to let that show. People that are going to have your back no matter what. And so that is big work and that is a big topic. And so I'm going to do my best to give you some really good quick strategies to kind of use that and get that done now. Oftentimes girls don't realize that they have a choice about who their friends are, but they really do. And when we're choosing friends or we're having an issue with friends, I always want to teach girls to be loving and kind because you can be very honest and open and tell someone that you don't like the way they're treating you and still be loving and kind. You don't have to be mean to them. You don't have to say things like, you're not my friend anymore, because that hurts. But you can instead say, I really don't like the way you're treating me, and so I'm going to give you some space. And that is way better because that person is not going to be able to go on the defensive so easily. They're not going to be able to be unkind. And if they are, it's okay. We want to teach girls to disconnect, but to always be open because everyone makes mistakes and everybody has bad days and everybody says things that they maybe don't mean or that are hurtful because we're human and we're flawed. And so I want to teach you so that you can teach your girls to be more accepting and to realize that maybe my friend is having a bad day. It doesn't mean that I'm a doormat. It doesn't mean that anybody gets to mistreat me. It just means that I'm going to choose to be understanding. and I'm going to be compassionate. And I'm going to let you have some space until maybe you feel a little better or a little happier. And we can kind of regroup, and we are still friends, and we still care about each other, and we still have each other's back. And so it's about choices. When I think about creating solid friend circles, it's all about the choice. It's who's aligned with you, who's aligned with the girl in your life. Do we share the same interests? Do we share the same values? What's important to me? Is that what's important to you? And are we respectful of each other's differences? Because if we were all the same, it would be so boring. I think I would just spend all day by myself, right? Why bother having any friends? But everybody wants to have friends. Everybody wants to be liked and be accepted. But knowing that you can do that and set boundaries. Teaching girls to actually embrace and accept others for their own uniqueness. It is such a powerful tool. And can you imagine if we could teach this lesson to people all over the world? It's big. That's how big I want it. By starting with young girls. Because the girls that we nurture now in our life are the leaders of tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. So let's give them the strongest foundation possible. The power of choice. This helps girls to surround themselves with loyal, caring friends. Kids that want to see them succeed versus tearing them down. There are kids out there that will want to tear others down. And for whatever reason, that's their thing. It probably doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. It has to do with their confidence. And that's a whole other webinar. But just to scratch the surface here is to teach the girls in your life that they have the power to choose their friends. And it certainly doesn't mean leaving people out. What it means is just the opposite, being open, widening the friend circle, letting people in that might look different, act different, have different beliefs. So what? Think of all the things that we can learn from each other, right? It's about teaching girls to love and accept one another in spite of their differences. We are only responsible for our own actions, our own words, and our own opinions. And so we are also responsible for accepting and respecting others. And I believe that's the strongest foundation that we can give people to build strong, solid friend circles, to give the girls in your life, is to talk to them about differences and about being unique and about caring for one another. Think about all the characteristics that are important in a good friend and make that the criteria for your girls. Make that the measuring stick. And also teach them about forgiveness and about knowing that friends make mistakes. One of the big things that I always talk about is think before you speak. And that, again, is another webinar. It's too much. I wish I could share everything today, but I can't. And so we're going to talk about those things later. There'll be more opportunities. And I'm sure this is only the beginning of our relationship together. I hope it is. So I want to share some statistics with you because in the work that I do have done lots and lots of research over the years. And so let me just see. So in sharing some of these statistics, just some of them really blow my mind. And so just kind of moving from what we have been talking about ways and tools that we can give girls more power, more confidence, more love and kindness, and moving into how do I know that there is a need for this? How do I know that this is a mission that's bigger than me and my company? How do I know that we all need to go in this direction of helping girls at a very young age to feel powerful and strong and supported? I know this because statistics teach us that, because we see it every day, right? But did you know that 7 in 10 girls believe that they are not enough, that they do not measure up in some way, including their looks, performance in school, and relationships with family and friends? We can also add to that in sports or any other activities that they do. Girls, 7 out of 10. That statistic breaks my heart. It is my work and my passion and purpose to improve these statistics because I know that we can. It hasn't always been this bad, and we can make it better because we are powerful human beings, right? I threw a few other things on here as well, even one for teens, because I know that this webinar, we're really talking about girls in the age group of 7 or 8 to about 12. And so, but these strategies, I'm sure just if you've, been on here with me, even just for part of the time or the whole time, I see that a lot of you are here from the beginning. I love that. Then what we've been talking about, we know that these tools and strategies, this work that we can continue to do, can be adapted to any human being at any age of any gender. And so, but these statistics are particularly for girls. And so I added teens because that's the next step, frankly, that's where they're going. So we want to catch them as early as we can and start to give them the tools to build that self-esteem. And so 92% of teens would like to change something about the way that they look, their body, ranking as the highest. And so for me, I also teach girls about healthy eating and about how your body is just this beautiful, strong machine, regardless of its shape or exactly how it works, and to embrace your strengths and acknowledge your weaknesses. And so just helping girls to feel like they are enough, to know that they are, that to me is a crazy number. And so we need to change it. And so I had already mentioned that the numbers are staggering. I'm sure they are to you if some of you may know some of these statistics, but I always like to share them because they are the proof that we need to do more to help girls to embrace who they are. So not always trying to get to a place that they think they will be happy at, but to know that they are just right, just as they should be in this moment. I want girls to love themselves at every single stage, at every single weight, at every, exam that they get back, at every sport that they try, at every level. I want them to love themselves and to know that they are enough. So, would you believe that on average, a girl's self-esteem is highest at 9 years old? 9 years old. When I started this work, I would say it was at about 15 years old. I think the first time that I really started looking at statistics. 15. I've only been at this I've been at this motivational coaching thing, I guess, that you would call whatever I do in health and wellness my entire life. I was a medic in the military, and then I went on to become a personal trainer and do all these other things that I do, studying nutrition and whatnot. But 10 years since I started pulling numbers and statistics for how girls feel about themselves. It was 15, and then it went to 11, and most recently 9. And if we don't catch a girl that's headed into that downward spiral at 9 years old, if we don't use these strategies and tools and help ourselves to get educated about how we can lift girls up and keep their confidence high, if we don't do that and they fall into that, they don't regain that level of self-esteem until they're about 35 years old. That's a lot of women out there graduating from high school, getting their first job, going to college with low self-esteem, with low confidence, feeling like they're not enough. That's not good enough for me. I don't know about you, but I'm on it, and I'm going to work it every single day, and I'm going to share it with as many people as I can, and I hope you do too. And so by helping these girls at a very early age, when I first started this Girl Power Go thing, people would actually say to me in the classroom, parents would pick up and they would say, oh, my daughter loves your class. And, oh, it's so great, the activities that you do and the lessons. And, they kind of thought, that's great, but how much are they really taking from it, right? I'm here to tell you, they take more than you could possibly imagine, just from the 3 strategies I've taught you today. And beginning when they're 7 and 8 is exactly when we need to start, because it is never too early to help a girl to feel more confident, to help her to feel brave and courageous, to help them to grow strong and have great friends and keep their self-esteem higher so we can take them out of this horrible statistic. So that is my goal, to kind of keep on going. And so I know that you're interested in that, or you wouldn't be spending all this time with me today. So I'm going to share a program with you that has the power to do that. So I have seen it over and over and over again. I have instructors now that certify with me and learn my program, they teach it exactly by the numbers. And I know that this is a solid foundation because they have seen the same results that I have. They have parents sending them emails at 10 o'clock at night with sticky notes all over a girl's bedroom that say, I am strong, I am powerful, I am brave, I am a good friend. And they simply say in their emails, you had an impact on my daughter. I know that because I get those emails and my instructors now get them. And you will know that if you take these strategies and you share them. So here is the proof. And this is just kind of something that always blows my mind, but that I can't help sharing. And so the proof that positive transformation happens in our program, in this Girl Power program that I'm about to share with you, in addition to what we've already shared, is that girls come into our classroom or in a program, let's say, that any 8-week program, I feel like 8 is the magic number. 10 and 12, of course, you're always going to see increased benefit. But we can go into any situation. A girl can work with us, and in 8 weeks, they see themselves bigger and brighter, stronger and more powerful. This is the proof. If you don't know what this is, I'm so happy to explain it. When I was in that reading class that I mentioned earlier on this webinar, when I felt ashamed and embarrassed and frankly stupid, and I do not like that word, but it is exactly how I felt, and it still rocks me to the core. When I was feeling that, I drew myself like this little girl drew herself. This is the girl that showed up in my classroom. This is Erin Mahoney when she couldn't read. And so they did this activity with me when I was in the 1st or 2nd grade, and I never, ever forgot it. And what happened was on week 1, when I first met the teacher, she had me sit at a table and draw a picture of myself. She gave me very little instruction. When I was done with that program at the end of the summer, she called me back in and she had me draw another picture. And so now we do that in our programs. And what happened was absolutely ridiculous. It was so incredible, and that's why I've never forgotten it. And now I do it in my programs with girls in this age group. And so what happened was what happened to every picture that you see on my screen. And that is that the picture on the right was much bigger, takes up the whole page, bigger, brighter, maybe smiling, open mouth. You can tell so much from a self-portrait. And so this doesn't only happen in my classroom, it happens in every program that we teach. And this to me is all the proof that I need, because this picture is worth 1,000 words, right? That's what people say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So a girl that saw herself as very small, she needed all of these peripheral things. You know, they draw the sky, the tree, the flowers, the other friends, some animals, whatever it is. And then at the end of this program that I am about to share with you, it's just them. It's this big, beautiful being. And so whatever you take from this, I want you to remember that these programs have the power to positively transform girls so that they feel more brave and courageous, bigger, stronger, more loving and kind. And so because of that, and I know that the webinar is only so much time, I created a program that has tremendous value that contains my best work to date, in addition to the things that I've already shared with you. And so I'm just asking with you to stay with me to the end and hear about the program. And so first, you and the girl in your life would be able to get 8 classes or sessions that cover the following topics. And so first you would get a welcome program and an overview. And so with this program, I thought, what is the best way for me to jump right into people's living rooms or their kitchens? And so I thought video, the power of video. And so I created 15 instructional videos that include each of these topics that you can now see on your screen. And so we will go through in depth, brave and courageous, the power of you. That's a class that I created so that girls can feel more powerful. They need to know that they have power. Even at a very young age, they are powerful. They have the power of choice. They have the power to say, what kind of attitude am I going to have today? Am I going to rock the day, or is the day going to stink? You get to decide at 8 years old. And ironically, I only have boys, But I have lots of special girls in my life. My mom was a single mom and raised me alone with my sister. And so I can tell you how powerful it is to tell a girl every day that she has the choice and that she gets to decide if she is going to rock her day. I say it to my boys, it works the same. Rock the day. Don't just go through it, own it. Help them to live bigger and feel bigger and brighter. And so I have a whole class created called The Power of You. And so we're going to talk about good friends. We're going to go into depth on those instructional videos. I believe there are 2 instructional videos for each class. The welcome, I believe, is 1. Then we're going to talk about loving kindness in depth, what it feels like to maybe pay it forward, to do things because they feel good in your heart. It's some of the strategies that I've incorporated into our classroom where we see really big things, you know. Maybe a girl you'll do this section with her and then she'll come home and say, wow, you know, I invited a girl over to the lunch table that I never even talked to before. And then she's putting multiple strategies into work, right? She's being brave and courageous. She's being loving, kind. She's standing in her power, all of it. It's incredible. Eating healthy, because that's part of creating your best self. A strong, powerful girl needs to eat right and learn about healthy foods and how they energize her body. I tell girls, you know, curves are power, and whatever shape you are is strength. And you know, we need to give our cars good fuel, just like we need to give our kids good food. And so helping them to learn to make those choices. The importance of rest. You know, anyone that has a kid out there that doesn't fight to go to bed, I would love to meet you. You are my hero, because every kid wants to stay up later and they don't understand how important it is to rest. And so we're going to talk about that in this program that's going to be available to you. And then we're going to celebrate and talk about what's next. We have a whole Girl Power Go community, and I want all of you to be part of it if you're not already. And so in this program, we're going to offer a free Facebook Girl Power Go Rockstar program where myself and my team will be supporting you every step of the way and supporting the special girls in your life. So I've created this program with tremendous value. Within the 8 classes and the 15 videos, you're also going to get 9 guided active fitness videos. And so what we do in our programs is we always have the life lesson, we have an activity that attaches to the lesson, and then we have a fitness or energy mindful component that goes with the lesson. So just as an example, we might be talking about brave and courageous. And so I have the girls draw a picture of yourself. What does it look like to you to be brave and courageous? What does it mean to be a warrior? And then we're going to kickbox. And so I actually did a video with instructional kickboxing. So when you see these videos, try not to laugh. But I had so much fun doing them, and now they're available so I can share them with you and your girls. So you don't have to think about it. You can say, I have no idea how to kickbox, but Erin's going to show me how to do it. So we're going to connect all of these fitness pieces with the lesson, so they're being active. Find out what girls love. You know, some girls don't love to run. Some girls might not love kickboxing. So we're going to do core work. We're going to do jumping and hopping and skipping. And I've added some yoga in there as well. And then I also do a wrap-up video where we talk about what we're going to do throughout the program and stretching and the importance of moving our body. And then I'm so thrilled because as it all started to come together and I started to build this in this new way to get all of this information that I know transforms girls into this positive light so that they can be this bright person that we know they are. And sometimes they hide that, right? They don't feel like they can have it out there. But if you take this journey with me, which I want you to take, I want us to be on this journey to empower as many girls as possible, we are going to give you the 15 videos with the content. In addition to that, we're going to give you, and you will get the 6 guided active fitness videos, but I wanted to give you more. So in addition to that, I have included some downloadable worksheets and positive thoughts. And so what that is with every single life lesson and every single class or block, however we want to refer to it, your daughter or the girl in your life that you are hoping to empower, and you absolutely will have all the tools if you take this journey with us, she will get worksheets that she can download where she can write her feelings and her thoughts and tell stories. And then you can interact and share them with us, whatever she feels comfortable with. on our interactive Facebook private group. And then in addition to that, she's going to get positive thoughts, because I always like to leave each class or each session that I do in a positive way, but also with bullet statements. Things like, love yourself at every stage. Know that you have the power to inspire others. Things like that. So the girls that enter into this program will get those positive thoughts and worksheets for every single session. And so they're powerful. They have the ability to build more confidence, heighten the girls' awareness, even at a young age, even 8, 9, 10 years old. We need to heighten their awareness, and most importantly, their self-worth. So my goal is always to help people to discover their own self-worth, because we all have tremendous value. So just to recap with you, and I think I actually just did that. I go ahead of my slides sometimes, no problem. You're gonna get all of my best practices and proven strategies to empower girls. We know they work because now you've seen the self-portraits, things that I've seen for a very, very long time. I'm super excited to get this content out to people and make it available in 15 instructional videos. In addition to that, I will be including 9 guided active fitness videos, all different types of fitness. We'll be giving them safety and stretching as well. And then you're going to get your multiple downloads, your positive thoughts that will correspond with each class and each topic, as well as one more bonus, if you can believe it. And you can use these over and over again. So at the beginning of this webinar, I did a little visualization with you. Something else I also do and practice in my own life is called tapping, EFT tapping. And you may not have ever even heard of it before, but it is absolutely amazing. And I wanted to share it with you. And I'm going to give a free bonus video with the program that I'm offering to you on the webinar today only, of myself doing a guided tapping session. And so if you've never heard of tapping, just in a nutshell, really quick explanation of tapping, you actually physically tap on acupressure points, meridians in your body. And so it's been around for a very long time, and it takes ancient Chinese methodology and couples that with modern psychology. And so it's where you do what's called a setup statement, and you talk about things like fear, anxiety, stress, how to be a good friend. You can tap on physical pain. And I can tell you from my own experience, it is powerful, and it has the power to change your life. And I don't say that lightly. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I was tapping today because, as excited as I was nervous, and I wanted to do a really good job on this webinar. I wanted to share as much of me and my program and what I know to be true to empower girls with all of you. And that was kind of a lot of pressure. And so I tapped. And so you can go out and do a little bit of research. It's not hard to find the studies that show how tapping can really benefit your children or the girls in your life, anyone really. And there are studies that show that when kids tap, their school behavior improves, there's less bullying, their test scores improve. We can help kids to manage their stress and their emotions through this incredible energy technique that we call EFT tapping. It's an emotional freedom technique. So without having more time to do that, I'd love to do a webinar just on tapping, which maybe I will do down the road. But for now, just so you know what it is. And then I took the time to do a video for your girls where I am giving it to you and your child to do this guided tapping session with me. And I made the topic of it really to relieve stress and anxiety as part of this empowerment program. And so with everything that you're going to get, we're going to recap again. You get the 8 classes or session full of the value and the content. You get 15 instructional videos, 9 fitness videos, multiple downloads and worksheets for every class, the positive thoughts for every class, and then the free closed Facebook Girl Power Go 8 to 12-year-old rock star group, and then the bonus EFT tapping video. And so the value of all of that content that we have given in the past is about $997. But today, if you really want to help the girl in your life to feel stronger and more powerful and more confident, we want girls to struggle less and enjoy more. There's value in that. For me, it is priceless. And that is not a shameless plug, because anyone that knows me knows I don't sell anything. And if you take anything away from this webinar, it's that I am transparent and I am honest and I know the value in this work. I have poured my heart and soul into this program, into every video, into the positive thoughts, into the downloadables. And I'm not here to convince anybody about anything. I'm here to share what we do and tools that we know will help and benefit girls. And I love that. And I love that I have this new platform to share it on a bigger level. And so with that said, I may have said some of these things on the slide. I don't even know, but I get excited and I kind of just get in my groove. And so I want the girls in your life to feel their best. I really do. I want them to be brave and courageous and confident. I want them to be loving and kind. I want them to know how to build good friend circles and how to be a good friend. I want them to love themselves at every stage and know that they are valuable and amazing right now in this very moment. And I want to share what I know about empowering girls with the world. And so it starts with you and it starts with me. And so I want to offer you the special discounted pricing for the entire package that we talked about. And it's only available through this webinar and through, getting on this webinar. And so there is a link for that. Oh, I almost forgot, sorry. And then if you stayed on with us to the end, which a lot of you did, and I am so excited about that, we are gonna email this download to you for free, the 7 ways to amazing days that I created. It's just a fun little quick guide. And so it encompasses some of the things we talked about today and then some added things that we didn't talk about. And so it will be on its way to you right now. And so to make the purchase, I'm just gonna open up the chat, and then we do have a Q&A session. And so remember, I wanted to stay really focused with all of you. So I'm gonna do my best to open up a Q&A here. Let me see if you can help me. Just bear with me, please stay on. And we wanna give you the link if you wanna be part of this incredible program and the Girl Power community. So if you have questions that have not been answered, you might have been doing some Q&A with Jessica. She is my right-hand woman. She is my executive assistant and the power behind the power, I would say. And so jump on now, ask us your questions, and then let me just provide a link for purchase if you wanted to do your purchases now. Let's see. Oh, I think it's there. Here's a link to buy the program. And, oh, and it is something that you will not regret. So hopefully that was, let me see if I can just, I think that that was shared with everyone. It was. So I hope all of you techies out there are having a good little giggle. I'm going to repost this because I want to just make sure that you all received it. But if you're getting this, I hope so. Hopefully everything will work well. The technology, that we're working with. And so if you are a techie and you're super qualified at all of these things, you can appreciate that. I am not, but I think I did pretty good. And most of all, I just loved having this time with all of you and sharing this work that I love so much. I did get a little emotional at one point. It's okay. I'm going to leave the chat and just feel confident that, whoops, Jessica. Let me just bring this up for us, and that Jessica was able to share our link. And let me go to the Q&A because I would love, I love that question. So the question is, do you have another program for girls that is 13 and older? Yes, we absolutely serve girls through middle school, and that's a great question. I will be feverishly working on the next online program right now. That program is available around my local area, which is the state of Massachusetts. We serve right now, we're touching I think we're up to almost about 30 towns, but I am always interested in working with others. Hopefully you can all hear me. I'm not answering it online. I'm just kind of reading the questions here and then giving it to you. But that is our goal, that we will be doing our more webinars and more programs available for the older girls. We do teach those programs. I have 2 programs. One is typically done in the spring, and it's called Preparing for Middle School. We love to take girls from multiple elementary schools and get them all together before they feed into that big, scary place of middle school. And I'll tell you right now, I have a 13 and 15-year-old, they're boys, but middle school is an ugly place. I say there are three of my least favorite places: the bus, the cafeteria, and middle school. 7th and 8th grade are relentless. Girls need us in this arena. So we do preparing for middle school. And then we have a 6 to 8 week program called Moving Through Middle School. And so I can share more of that with you offline, but it is my absolute immediate goal within early 2018 to offer that as an online program as well. So we are working on that, and we know that there's a need there, and we've been teaching it, like I said, locally for a long time, and we just need to find ways to, this is our new vehicle. So we're excited about that. So join our community. You can do that at girlpowergo.com. Definitely our newsletter always tells about events and things like that. And Jessica and myself and my team would be happy to give you any information we can in the interim to help the girls in your area. And then I see that someone else loved that. Girl Scouts, we work with Girl Scouts, a lot of Girl Scouts. I love you. Thank you to all the leaders that are on this call, because you have been such a strength to me and my Girl Power community. We love to collaborate you. You're very aligned. I'm sure you can see that with Girl Power Go, and it is our privilege to work with all of you. Someone wanted to discuss how to become a certified facilitator of the program. I love that. You can go to our website again, and there will be new dates coming up for the spring for certifications, and I can give you that information. Right now, that's a live program. I've done that we do that here in Massachusetts. People can travel to come for it, or I have done some Skype and webinar type training. So there's different ways to do it. We never want the distance to be a barrier again. So we are ready to certify and train other ladies that want to lead these programs. So we're growing, and there can't possibly be enough of us, right? I hope everyone agrees. So I love it. Michigan wants us to be in Michigan. Woo, woo. We love that. Shout out to you. Let's see, Girl Scout leader. And you ordered the book. That's right. I didn't even mention the book. So there goes that. I'm not a sales girl person. So I hope that my publisher and my team isn't ready to kill me. But I did write some books. I published 3 books this year, which is incredible for a girl that honestly could not read. And now we are best-selling published author on Amazon. We're available on at Barnes & Noble, barnesandnoble.com. Sometimes they're in the local stores, but you can get it on Amazon. The 3 books are the Girl Power Guide, which I highly recommend. That's for parents and instructors, and it's an in-depth look at this program. And from that, the journal was born. So I'm sorry, I'm so excited and overwhelmed that I'm just kind of losing it a little bit, but stay with me. We're here, and we did it, and you guys are amazing. So the first book is the Girl Power Guide, and that's for parents and instructors, and that is all about the strategies and tools for transformation, how you can really impact girls in a positive way. And I've included, probably 15 years worth of content in that first book. That book became, it took me 2 years to write, and I had all the content. And so, but it also is a compilation of lots of personal stories, and not just mine. There are testimonials in there about, girls that have come into our room that have really, really been struggling. And then their parents want to share that they don't struggle anymore. That girls that were afraid to say their name or introduce themselves are now standing up and helping other girls to do that. So it's so real. And so we've included that in the book. And then we also have a beautifully illustrated journal. And so that goes as a companion. You can either get them separately or as a set. And so the Girl Power Go journal is beautifully illustrated. Again, more stories. The very special little girl that this program was born from her experience actually is in the book and shares a lot of herself. She was 14 and brave and courageous when she wrote her story in my book. And I'm so blessed to have her in my life and have her on this journey with us. And so if you want to check those out, you can go to Amazon, and Erin Mahoney Girl Power should get you there. And then the third book, people were saying to me, which I knew in the last 2 years or so, Erin, we need these strategies and tools for women. All of us that fell into that statistic, right, including myself, for a while. Sorry about the sniffles, I'm crying. You know, we need this stuff too. And so I said, you know, you're right. And it's just time. And so I did a book based on my adult content, and it's called Positive Vibes for Women. And I'm super proud of it. It's very different from the other two books. It's for all of you grown-ups, all of you beautiful ladies on this call and your friends. It's a great gift. It's a smaller book. It's a short read. And my vision, that was very deliberate, because my vision for this book was to have something that women could read quickly, could throw in their purse or their gym bag, share it with friends, read it in their car when they needed it. You know, something happens to you and you feel like you got kicked in the stomach and you need a really good pick-me-up. Now you look at Positive Vibes for Women and you are reminded that Erin told me that in my darkest, weakest moments, I am strong and powerful. I am beautiful and I am worthy. And so that's what that book is about. And I love it so much. And I hope you love it too. So I hope you love every page. And so I see some kind comments out there too. Thank you so much. We do think the program is awesome. We know that to be true. So you have the purchase link, and I hope it's going well for you guys. I said I wanted to be respectful of time, and I think we have just a few minutes left, just a couple of minutes. And you know, it's been great. It's been great to spend my morning with you. I know some of you jumped on really early. Thank you for all of you on the West Coast. I saw some 8 o'clock people. You are rock stars in my world. And so I'm just asking you to share, share, share. And so we are so thrilled that you are on with us today. I hope that you got some really great value out of this webinar. I hope that you are going to implement those tools and strategies and my top 3 tips that I gave you right away. Don't wait. I want to see lots of action on social media for us. You can grab us on Instagram at girlpower.go. So join us there. You can grab us on Facebook, where Girl Power Go. You can find us on LinkedIn as well, and Twitter. But join us in those arenas. Join our community by subscribing to our website. We will not spam you. We send really 1 email blast a month, but it's always packed with lots of positive vibes. And we're always sharing where we are and who we're seeing and what we're doing. And we're doing conferences, and you know, would love to just connect with all of you more and help you on this journey to feel big and bright and inspired, and remembering that there is an abundance of love in the world, and sometimes we forget that. And so there are a lot of good people doing good things, and that's what I want my organization to continue to be. And we want to include as many girls and women in this work and on this mission as we can. So with that, I'm going to go. I'm going to count my blessings and say I appreciate you, and I'm full of gratitude. And make sure you go on the link so that you can spend all of that time with us and learn more and be part of the private group and be tapping, and we would just love it. So I'm excited to work with all of you in the future, and I hope you rock your day. Girl Power Go.